So, Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And today, as you can see in the background, and I'm really willing to hurry a little bit because I fucked it up with the time today completely. Because it's already 8:30. I usually should go to bed at around 9:20 because I get up at 5:20 a.m. And so if I would be willing to really get these 8 hours in, I would have to go to bed in exactly, quite exactly an hour. But lately I'm practically going to bed at 11, maybe even 12, and so on, because I do need to work a little bit, and yeah, a little bit might be a little bit less to say. I'm quite working a lot on it because it's fun for me, and I know that there is, some future in this. But the thing that I really have to say right now is that I'm so fucking appreciating that I've already 520 followers on Instagram now, which is totally amazing for me. And just before this recording, I was like, yeah, you know, really visualizing 500 fucking people in one room, which is enormous. It's an enormous amount of people, but with social media and all these things, it's quite so fucking easy, or it got so fucking easy, and it's work. I do not really want to say that you do not have to do anything for it. It is work, but the thing is, if you're passionate about it and if you really like to do it, it's not quite some work. In terms of sleep, it's not good for me, and I definitely have to tell you that you should get your sleep in. And actually, when another thing I do, oh my god, I do have to tell you right now is that if you go into the video description right now, so for all the people who just come into the stream and or the YouTube video and the podcast especially, just a pretty quickly in, because they just want to watch another episode or even do not watch the entire podcast. I do have Instagram and all these other things. The thing is, all these links to the social media platforms I am on are usually either in the video description if you are on YouTube, and or the podcast description, and then it just depends on what platform you are. The description itself is somewhere else on Spotify than on Apple Podcasts or Apple. Yeah, it's Apple Podcasts, I think. So, but enough being said, I actually do have a really nice thing, which is Light Link, I think it's called, where you can really just put all your links you have into one page, which is then some kind of actually mobile optimized page, which pretty much works exactly fantastic on mobile devices. And then you can put these links or this one link into your Instagram bio, and then you have actually a lot of links into one link, and the layout and the design of it is actually pretty nice, so pretty clean, and everything is working. And you can even see the Twitch stream just right in a box on this website as well. But we are going to talk about again about the basics of investing or investing itself. I hope I'll go through it, and yeah, I'll be definitely go through this one today, because I do really want to do something else on my channel as well, not only investing. But yeah, I'm kind of into self-help books again right now, because I feel like they help me quite a lot, because I actually know and I just see that I watch my own stream, which is never a good idea because it fucks my internet completely, and especially my laptop, and then you just really hear it also in the recording, which is something I do not like. I really do not like. But the thing is, I'm pretty much into self-help books again. I kind of was like, these are all just the same books, but the actual thing is that a lot of business books, so dedicated business books, are just really about the same shit, and it really kind of sucks to read them for me right now in the position I am right now, But the thing is, the self-help books, which is, for example, How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the books I've really been enjoying reading. It's besides 1984 from George Orwell, one of the best books I've ever read, and most valuable ones. Actually, I think it is the most valuable one. It is just an incredible book, and if you have the time and if you have the interest in this topic or this just thing, I would really appreciate and invite you to go through How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It costs around, it's around $7, but these are some experiences and some really insights of this author's life. He just explains every topic or every kind of tip he has in his book with a story, which is actually something I pretty much like, because you just really can remember it, way better than if he just says, yeah, this is the tip, this is how you do it, and so on. So it is a fantastic book. It's actually only about $7 or $8. It depends on if you have a hardcover or some kind of, magazine-like thing. But enough being said, I think this was no, it wasn't. I just thought about if it was the longest intro I've ever had, but I think it was actually even 14 minutes long, and I'm actually now 6 minutes in. Yeah, not quite efficient with the time, but I now have everything said, so I can go on with it. Yeah. So mastering your mind, this is, the last kind of chapter of this book, and this is just really something that's, Tony Robbins really knowledgeable about, or a field that he's pretty knowledgeable in. And this is actually the chapter I've been, most really kind of looking forward to, especially as I was going through this book quite a long time. I think it was actually, in terms of the summary now, actually more than an hour, even 2 hours, which is really a lot. So these simple rules and procedures will make it easier for you to invest for the long term, to trade less, to lower your investment fees and transaction costs, to be more open to views that differ from your own, which is actually, a pretty important thing, to be able to go into another person's shoes. I've talked about it pretty a lot, and if you just, have been following me a little bit, you might know that, and it might even piss you off that I just talk about it all the time, but I think it's actually pretty important, because if you are able to, put yourself into another position or another people's shoes, as you could say it, then you really know their perspective and you can really understand their perspective. And this is, for me, in terms of this now, not, really in terms of marketing, which is another topic, this is really correlating to, you can really, what did I want to say? I don't know, man. Fuck it. What did I say? Or what did I wanted to say? So you could be... Never mind. I just go on. So, to lower investment fees and to be more open to views that differ from your own. To reduce risk by diversifying globally and to control the fears that could otherwise derail you during bear markets. Will you be perfect? No, definitely not. And then my point of view, and yeah, this is actually something that Gary Vee is also saying, but I believe in it. The thing is, I will never be saying something I do not believe in. If there's, somebody else who is also saying this all the time or has really been emphasizing it, I do not care actually, because, I just need to gain knowledge as well. It's just the same thing as you might be doing as well. So, I am actually in the same position as you are, maybe, if you just are here for the knowledge or whatever. But yeah. So, will you be perfect? No. But will you do better? Of course. Or you bet. And the difference this makes over a lifetime can amount to many millions of dollars, which is totally true, The faster you just really start to, create a business or actually doing something in terms of your financials or your knowledge or whatever, the better, you know? So for me, I kind of feel, and this is also something I've been talking about in the last episode, I kind of feel like, I'm losing quite a lot of time. Because actually, if you might even know Ayman, Ayman G, I don't really know his exact last name, but it's something with G and an H and a D and also a G again and something like this. He's already making millions, and he's actually like 18 years as well, and I'm also 18 years. So I kind of feel like, yeah, you know, it's a little bit stressful for me, even though I really believe in patience. But this is a really pain in the ass if you just know that others have been doing way more than you were doing. But we are all individuals. So, making the most important decision in your life. If this book helps you to become financially free, I'll be thrilled for you. But if I'm honest, I don't believe that's enough. Because you actually have to take action. It's always like, reading book feels great. For me, it's actually something I really now am lacking of because I do not get the time or do not have the time right now to actually be reading a lot. I have been reading quite a lot, especially when I, was in a train and I didn't have to do anything else quite. Now I'm just sitting on my phone, um, commenting on other people's Instagram posts and so on, just to get the exposure and to be social, which is, you should really be social on a social network. This would make sense. But the thing is, I actually feel like, yeah, I do quite have to read again because I feel like, not doing anything in terms of my knowledge, even though I go through summaries of books and, so therefore books every single day for more than half an hour. But it's just, some kind of feeling. And if you do have such a feeling as well, it might be even better to just read, even though, I kind of today was deciding between reading and actually, commenting on other people's posts. And then I was like, yeah, I read a page because I was just in the tunnel and I didn't have any connection. And so everything was pretty much fucked up. So I quite decided to read something. And then at the end, I just ended up reading 1.5 pages, which is not that much actually. But, it's always kind of, yeah, always kind of difficult to decide. But yeah, because having financial wealth doesn't guarantee to you that you will be wealthy as a human being. But real wealth is about so much more than money. Real wealth is emotional, psychological, and spiritual. If you're financially free, but you're still suffering emotionally, then what kind of victory is that? And this is not a good victory, at my point of view. So real wealth is, okay, this is only the quote. So the 3 steps which should lead to emotional wealth, I think. When it comes to the science of achievement, there are 3 keys or key steps that can enable you to achieve whatever is what you want. The first step is to achieving anything you want is focus. Remember, wherever you focus goes, your energy flows. And this is actually something Tony has really, really fucking been emphasizing, which is, I actually believe in it. The thing is, if you're searching for negativity in life, you will definitely feel and find and see the negativity in life. But if you're really like, looking for positivity, you will definitely be, finding, I actually say quite a lot. You will find positivity a lot. The same thing is with illnesses, and this is something I've really been experiencing, that if I just focus on my illness that might occur, and I'm like, yeah, I will get ill, I'm just, I do know it because my socks are wet, or I'm just, the weather is wet, or some things like this. The actual thing that happens that then the next day I will actually be some kind of ill or feel not that good. And then I'm like, yeah, I actually should, really concentrate on the good things and the things that I'm feeling good about. And this is then the actual thing that I'm like, yeah, if I'm actually ill, I tend to not being able to do the things I actually like, which is quite working out, working on my social media things, even though fortunately enough, I haven't been that ill so that I couldn't really be, recording anything. But the thing is, at my point of view, if you're then just doing something, if you're ill physically, mm, yeah, physically, which is, also kind of thing, it's the same with mentally. But the thing is, if you aren't doing something you actually like or the things you love, it's not good for your body and it's not good for your health. So why would you do that? It's not making any sense for me. And yeah, that's it. Period. So yeah, but actually, this is what I believe in. So wherever you focus on, or yeah, wherever you focus on, your energy goes to. For me, it's true. The second one is the second step is to go beyond hunger, drive and desire, and to constantly take massive action. A lot of people dream big but never get started. To succeed, you need to take massive action. And this is actually what I'm doing right now. I'm posting 6 posts, and actually I might be posting tomorrow 7 posts because I make the posts in post. So I always make the post for the next days or the next day because I'm not really able to manually post them. Therefore, I use Buffer, which is spelled Buffer. It is an incredible tool. It is free and you can do so much fucking things with it. By now, you can actually be posting videos as well, which was a thing that wasn't working before. You just then got a reminder and then you had to go to your mobile phone and do it manually. Even though the clipboard or the caption you added there in the program itself got copied to your clipboard and everything was kind of half automated, but now it is fully automated, so you can actually, you can put out 10 posts a day with this. It's actually like, I'm really been forcing myself to not post the same things over and over and over and over again because it kind of feels stupid for myself, and I kind of do not want the people who are reading this, feel stupid and then be like, yeah, actually, he's always just talking about the same things. I'm not gonna watch his content or gonna like his things or not gonna be with him anymore. And it would piss me off as well. It's just seeing the same shit over and over again, even though at the end it's quite this thing because actually I'm talking about the same things quite a lot, even though they're kind of packaged in a different way, which makes it a little bit a sneaky way to maybe a little bit time to a little bit to a little saving of time. But yeah, the first step to achieving whatever you want is grace. Some people call it luck, some people call it God. Here's what I can tell you. Based on my own experience, the more you acknowledge grace in your life, the more you seem to have it. And actually, I kind of believe in karma as well. And I think if you're just a pretty nice person, the kindest person, kindness will come back to you. Therefore, I always really try to be, even though I'm I might be some kind of, socially awkward, not quite in the terms of what it actually means, but I'm quite joking around a lot. I'm doing a lot of bullshit a lot, but at the end, I always tend to be and always try to be a pretty nice person because it is who I am first of all, and I actually know that there is something like karma, and I really do not want to get fucked in my future, or it doesn't matter if the near future or the far future. So the art of fulfillment. The art of fulfillment is an even more important skill to master. Why? Because you master the external world without mastering the internal world. How can you be truly and sustainably be happy? That's why my greatest obsession today is the art of fulfillment. And this is actually something I believe also in quite a lot, because if you aren't fulfilled by doing what you're doing every single day for 40 years, for 40 hours a day, not a day, a week, and 8 hours a day, and maybe even more, and for a third of your life, which is something I've been talking a lot about, but I really want people to understand and even try. The thing is, I do understand that people have to work on some things because of money, because they have a family to feed, and they just have to feed themselves, and it is just really hard work to, to grow something besides your work, and you're actually working so much already. I know it. I know it's a lot of work. I go to bed every day, even though I do not have, really the force, behind my back to really be doing something and to really be working on something I do not like. And I'm actually, quite all day long doing something I like, because I actually like school most of the time, and I actually think that is the reason for why I like school is the people. I quite really love the people I'm hanging around with, and yeah, this is just quite making my day all the time. But I like graphic design as well, so I'm not gonna push that too hard. But I understand that people have to work on things because of money. I pretty much understand it, but I do not hope it for any one of you. I really hope you have, or even if in the future, if you aren't, quite able to work on something now that you actually like, that you are still, doing something on the side that you can monetize something you're actually passionate about in the near future. So, what I mean is that you should be working on something besides your fucked up work and this thing that you actually do not like, because at the end and in the future you have something you actually like, and then you can just throw this hated job out of the fucking window and just work on the thing you love. The first one is which is standing there, it's quite out of nowhere. The first one is so the first principle is you must keep growing. Everything in life either grows or dies. That goes for relationships, businesses, or anything else, which just means, yeah, growing. I think this just explains itself. The second one is you have to give. If you don't give, there is only so much you can feel inside, and you'll never feel fully alive, which is totally what I'm also thinking about, or also just believing in, because I think the best thing you can be doing is creating something, or creating value, or giving value to other people in your process of getting to your goal, or getting successful, or whatever you're willing to achieve. This is, at my point of view, the really this would be then the position you are in. Would be just amazing, because you're doing something good for other people, and you're doing something good for yourself, and so they are happy, and you're happy, and everyone is happy, and so everything is good. The thing is, I really like to give, and I really put the pattern in myself that I have to give, and that money won't get to you by just really just catching money or driving for money. Money, at my point of view, is a byproduct. I've been talking about it a lot. I'm not gonna go through it the whole way. I just want to say that money is a byproduct of doing something else. Period. Yeah. Remember, money doesn't change people, it just magnifies who they already are. If you have a lot of money and you're mean, then you have more to be mean with. That's totally true. And you have, the real power to be mean with. If you have a lot of money and you're generous, you will naturally give more. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Yeah, but I actually believe that some people just, really can live good with being just, really fucked up, but quite successful. You know, it's not always like people just really tend to generalize everything, and this is something that really, really fucking bothers me. Not in terms of Tony, he's not doing it because maybe it's just because I believe in it that I do not feel like it, but you just see it a lot on Instagram and generally on social media that people say, yeah, you have to read 500 pages a day to get successful. And, some shit like this, and it doesn't make any sense because it always depends on who you are, who you want to be, what you really want to achieve. And, not everybody wants to be successful. The thing is, if you're, really following these people, you might want to be, yeah, this would then make sense. But even though, it doesn't make any sense, yeah, you should get knowledge. I don't really want to debate on that. And I have been making a post about it already, that, yeah, knowledge is important, but being a practitioner is even more important at my point of view. And this is actually something to be really honest. On my way home, I do have to go home for about 15 minutes from the railway station. I was just thinking like, yeah, I was listening to some, Gary Vee podcast, which is always the thing I tend to do, when I'm just, going somewhere, or if I'm in the train, or, just I have nothing else to do, or I could not do anything else. I just, either listen to podcasts, or I tended or just really wanted to listen to audiobooks. The thing is, I would have to buy them to really get a good quality, and I do not want to buy them, and because I'm just really really saving up money. It's just pretty crazy. I do not spend my money for anything else but food, actually, and this is then something that I just really buy the cheapest food. But at the end, I do really look at what I am eating, and I will still be spending a little bit more money to eat something that's actually healthy and good for my body, than eating something that's completely shit but really cheap, because at the end you just fuck yourself over in the future. So, and if you know me, I'm always about long-term decisions. They just make more sense at the end. But yeah. So, your mind and decisions. Yeah, I will complete this one today. Either you master your mind or it masters you. The secret of living an extraordinary life is to take control of the mind, since this alone will determine whether you live in a suffering state or a beautiful state. In the end, it's all about the power of decisions. Our lives are shaped not by conditions, but by our decisions, which is, totally the truth, because it depends on what you're doing every day, what actions you take, what decisions you take or make, that is really determining your life and especially your future. But kind of say like, yeah, your future is your life, but yeah, never mind. So in the end, it's all about the power of decisions. Our lives are shaped not by our conditions. Yeah, I've read that. Will you commit to enjoying life not only when everything goes your way, but also when everything goes against you, when injustice happens, when someone screws you over, when you lose something or someone you love? Unless we make this definitive decision to stop suffering and live in a beautiful state or survive, our survival minds will create suffering whenever our desires, expectations, or preferences are not met. What a waste of so much of our lives. Which is totally true. The thing is, you can always decide whether you just react to a certain situation or scenario with being angry, or with being, grateful to just, have this failure or have this bad scenario or situation you're just in, because you will be learning and growing through it, or learning because of it and growing through it. And this is actually the last paragraph, actually, and I will maybe even I will be talking a little bit. Yeah, I will be talking a little bit. Whenever I start to suffer, I give myself 90 seconds to stop it, so that I can return to living in a beautiful state. Gently breathe and slow things down. Step out of the situation and start to distance yourself from all those stressful thoughts that your brain is generating. It's natural for these thoughts to arise, but they are just thoughts. When you slow down, you realize that you don't have to believe these thoughts or identify with them. Once detached from these thoughts, start to focus on something you appreciate. This shift in focus allows your spirit to enter the game. You will be able to rewire your brain to see the good in situations. And if you practice this consistently, at my point of view, and I just believe in it, that consistency is king. If you do not make the consistent decisions that are good, or good decisions consistently, it won't work. It's not like, yeah, you're eating something healthy once and then you will be healthy for your whole life. It's not gonna work, and it's not working for everything in your entire life, in the entire world, so it won't be working for decisions as well, or for your feelings as well, or your brain as well, whatever. This summary is not intended as a replacement for the original book, and all quotes are credited to the above mentioned author and publisher, which is also something I should be a little bit emphasizing a little bit more. Yeah, um, book summaries are really not the thing you could just, really replace the actual book for it, because this book summary is maybe, yeah, me going through it with you just takes up a little bit more time, and I was going through it quite like 2.5 hours now, and the book would be just 10 hours, so it's 5 times more even, and then you just really can see that, um, and it's even 10 hours or 10-hour read when you're reading it alone, which means like, yeah, I'm reading this with you, and so if I would be reading it alone, I would go through it alone, I would definitely go through it like in, I don't know, maybe an hour. Yeah, maybe an hour. An hour would be good. The thing is, do I understand it as good as if I was reading the book? Totally not. If I get some insights and some tips and tricks, the fast way, and just to have it quickly and so on, yeah, totally. And I think this is the great thing about it, especially for me, because I can't really, read a whole book with you. This won't work. And this is also something I wouldn't like to do, because I would just hang on one book for a year. If I just go through every word, what it meant and what it should mean or what it could mean, I would be there for, my entire life doing one book. But yeah, this is just good for me because I can go, get a lot of information and I can provide you, and I just see that, that it might have been a little bit hard for you to read. And I really have to be sorry for that. I, just really didn't mention it or recognize it. But I hope, yeah, I just was talking about it, and I hope you could see it a little bit. But what could I be talking now? There's always so much fucking things that I'm talking or just thinking about, and I'm like, yeah, I really have to talk about this one because, I feel like it's just, giving it to you because I think it's important, and I think it's actually worth the time I would be using it for. But the actual thing I really want to emphasize a little bit more, I was, quite talking about it before, but it's so fucking important, and a lot of people do just kind of get it wrong and do, kind of fuck about it or give a fuck about it or fuck it over, whatever you want to tell or say, which is sleep. Sleep is so fucking important, and please sleep the amount of hours your body needs. It's, for everybody, it's another number. For me, it's definitely more than 6. And, but I just get these 6 hours. I actually managed to get 7 hours yesterday, but then, which is the fucked up part about it, I was then just rolling around in my bed for, I guess, even half an hour or quite like an hour even. The thing is, I wasn't going to bed at exactly 1 hour before, so at the end I might have gotten to bed at the exact same time, which is not that good for my health, and I really feel it and I notice it, that my body is like, yeah, man, even though you do not really want to, you just have to sleep a little bit more even, or at least a little bit more. But yeah, sleep is important. Please keep that in mind. And also the eating healthy, even though there are just so many opinions on what is healthy, what is not healthy. Yeah, this reminds me of something. In school, I was going through a text, which was about the African not transitions, but traditions, which are fairly interesting. I wouldn't say that it is for the whole African continent. It might be for some kind of part about it or of it, but it's actually like that they really keep their life and try to live as healthy as they can. The thing is, and this is actually what I was thinking about. So they just really keep attention to their life and they value it just a lot. The thing is, I was thinking about like, yeah, who tells them what is the right thing to do in their lives? Who tells them? And I was just thinking about like, yeah, you know, even though science is a thing, I do not really know, and yeah, I wouldn't really say that they rely on science because this is a traditional kind of tribe or something. I think I do not actually know it for sure, but it was some kind of tribe, so the picture looked like it. And they actually then be just like, yeah, they think something is healthy or is contributing to their lives, so they will do it. And this then really just underlines the power of thoughts for me. That I really believe in thoughts. Thoughts are just an amazing tool to use actually, because they just really can do a lot with you. Um, the thing is, it is actually what I believe in as well. Is that what you believe in is, and so if you really believe in it, it will definitely be happening a little bit more, or the chances are way higher than if you're just like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I don't know. Instead of like, yeah, I'm fucking sure about it. I know this will work. I know this, this will go, even though if it just doesn't work at the end, you will learn a lot through it. But yeah, this is actually something I just had to emphasize a little bit more. Um, Also, besides the whole generalization thing, which is also just really fucking with me, because I do not understand why people, and especially people who are just really trying to get successful as well, put out so much shit. And I then feel quite like on Instagram especially, why do they put out so much shit? Um, yeah, I then always think like, yeah, should I comment it? No, I won't, because I won't fuck their day or just act like silly in the comments, which is a lot of people already do this, and which is pretty much fucking them over at my point of view. It would me, for example, if I am just like, yeah, this is what I believe in. Yeah, this is actually something I have to tell you. Do never ever quite be like, yeah, this is just fucking bullshit they say. If it's just not in terms of facts, but something that's kind of subjective. Because if this person is thinking that this is true, if this person is really kind of passionate about it or really believes in it, you just have to accept it. Because yeah, you don't believe in it, and you quite find it funny and silly and dumb, but don't act like a fucking idiot and be like, yeah, this is not true because I know it better. It doesn't make any sense. If it's really a subjective thing, and this is really something about you thinking this way and the other person is thinking that way. And this is why I just really tend to quite be a little bit cautious about, or just really look at what I'm saying, what I'm writing, and what I'm doing, so that I'm actually not really just hurting my own rules, some kinda. Which might happen, just because actually I always thought that I was quite good at spelling in English. Spelling in German is I just completely fuck it. I'm such a piece of shit in writing German. Speaking German is, because it's my mother tongue, it's not that hard. But writing it is just, incredible hard for me. Even though most of the time I'm like, to be honest, I'm writing something, I notice that it is wrong, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I write it anyways. Because I'm, in some kind of ways, I'm really, really lazy in these ways. And then in other ways, like this here, I'm just really, acting crazy on it. 6, 7 posts a day is just an enormous amount. And not quite that amount of people, or that a lot of people are just doing it. And this is just crazy. But actually, also something I have to say is that I talked about it before, but I will definitely go through a book on meditation, and let's even see. I can actually go and see on the powermoves.com website, because I've seen that there is actually a great book on meditation, because I'm not that knowledgeable in it. In this whole business and investing thing, I've been a little bit into it, and I've gone through quite a lot of things right now, and everything is a little bit clearer, and I just see that a lot of books are just um, telling the same thing over and over and over again, and they other books or just a ton of books say the same. So it just was like going through actually the powermoves.com website, seeing what they actually can offer or offer besides these business books and or self-help books. And then I was like, yeah, and then just noticed that self-help books are just really the thing I'm kind of passionate about. Marketing books should I also be going through, especially with you, because it is actually pretty important on the one hand, but really interesting on the other hand, especially in the psychological facts of it or psychological terms of it. But this would also just be the reason why I would go through psychology books, because they're so fucking interesting, and you just could or can really see the relations between psychology and marketing and how people act, so human behavior and even maybe consumer behavior, which is actually something I should be a little bit more knowledgeable about, because I do not know what the people who might be willing to really be looking at my content, especially on Instagram and on YouTube, I don't know what they need. The thing is, there are some ways, for example, like Quora, which is this kind of I ask a question, someone answers my question platform. It is a great way to just know what people are thinking, know what they what informations they need. It is a great website for that. I just noticed that because Instagram is just in terms of self-development and this kind of niche or this area is just, you can completely forget it, because most people are just talking about the same shit, liking their own networks post, just talk about the same and like the same shit, and the comments are always the same because they just um, tag their kind of network mates, and it's not quite that good, because you do not see any normal people that are just commenting something that you can be like, yeah, I know the answer for this, which is just actually a really good strategy to do on Instagram, to just comment on posts. Gary Vee refers to it as the $1.80 strategy, because he says that giving your opinion is actually giving you 20 cents. This is something I do not actually know why it just came up like this, but it seems to be maybe some kind of insider or just some kind of joke of them. But actually, it's a great idea to just then be like, if you do the maths, you just post on 9 pictures, or just comment on 9 pictures, which is a great way for exposure and actually delivering the value you could provide to other people and others' content. But I actually do want to say something else. Kind of drifted somewhere, which is always happening to me when I'm talking with you. And actually, yeah, this is also a thing I could talk about. I was actually, yesterday especially thinking of, which is or was actually the reason why I couldn't really sleep, because I was just really thinking about it, which is pretty fucked up because it happens to me quite a lot. The thing is that I quite thinking about to really start another brand besides my own personal thing, so the self-development thing, because I actually feel like if I just have a product to sell, it's not only about selling. This is why I just put it into quotation marks. Selling a product is something completely different than selling kinda yourself or actually some kind of service. The thing is, through selling a product or actually knowing how to sell a product and advertise a product, especially advertising, I could really gain a lot of knowledge, and it just could give me a lot of profit, which I could then put into this here or the other business as well. Then I was just thinking about print on demand. If you do not know what print on demand is, it's quite like, yeah, you have a shop with your t-shirt designs, and if someone buys it, they get printed and then they get sent over to your client. So you actually do only have to make the designs for it, which is good for me because I'm a graphic designer. It's what I like. And so it's, a win-win situation. I could make money, I gain a lot of knowledge, and I can do my design things a little bit more than right now, even though I can, just do the posts and the thumbnails, which is uh, quite good for now. Yeah. But it's actually only about the experience and the knowledge and being, really practicing it, or just being a practitioner. Because in my point of view, by doing something, you get way more knowledge than by just reading about it or just theoretically working on it and so on. So I was just really thinking about it, even though I really do not want to sell t-shirts that are just, produced in China with the baddest labor type, and even kids are working on it. This is not something I want to do. And therefore, I just was Googling today quite a lot if there are actually some companies or some sites where you can, get really fair trade products as print on demand products. But there wasn't some kind of way or some kind of thing, unfortunately. But I might be looking a little bit more forward, or just, just see if I can just, find products that are actually made in the US or in Europe, so that that they aren't that harmful for, first of all, the environment and for the people, even though that I would just spend. I was just thinking about spending, or no, it's not spending, because in German it is actually spending, about donating a certain percentage of the profits I gain through the shirts or the mugs or the towels or whatever I will be selling to charity things. Because if I then have the money, and if it's then just more about the learning than actual about the money, and if it's gaining me quite a lot of money, then it won't, quite harm me to just give away something, at least, a pretty slight percentage. Especially in the clothing industry, because these these labors and these works, what these people are just doing are incredibly hard and incredibly harmful for them. And so just really contributing others is always a good way to have a business, and it's also good in terms of marketing, but this is not what I'm thinking about. But enough being said for today, actually. Enough being serious. Um, this is the end of the episode. This is the end of the stream. I hope you got some value from it. Tomorrow there will be some kind of meditation action, or psychology action, or marketing action, or self-help action. Whatever I can find, whatever is just interesting for me, and whatever I think of, like giving to you something, even though it's quite hard to think about it, because I do not know what these people need, what you need. So just please tell me. And yeah, just, there should be somewhere my social media links. So go on them and hit me up and tell me what you need, and I might be finding an answer for it. Or just hit me up on Quora, which would be just, the easiest way, I think. Just hitting me up on Quora. But I'm actually 50 minutes in, getting quite hard for me to get these 7 hours of sleep, because I do only have 1 hour left, which is fairly not that a big amount. But I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope you are just happy, and if not, do something that makes you happy. And with that being said, I have to say goodbye. I see you, and I love you.